Hi, and welcome to What's New in Alfresco One version 4.2. This is part 5 in our series, and we're focused on CMIS 1.1 in this talk. I'm Gary Cox, and I'm a senior consultant with Bluefish Development Group. And today we're going to cover CMIS 1.1 support that's been added with Alfresco 4.2 and later versions. CMIS 1.0 is still supported, but CMIS 1.1 provides some new useful features, including better support for aspects, a new browser binding, and also the ability to append content to a content stream. So we're going to show new CMIS 1.1 features. And we'll talk a little bit about 1.0 versus 1.1 for handling of aspects. I have a little bit of code to demonstrate how 1.1 makes this a lot easier. Beginning with Alfresco 4.2, there's a new format for the URL for AtomPub binding. You see the old URL here, ending with CMIS Atom. But there's a new format for Alfresco 4.2 and later versions. You can specify in the URL which CMIS version you want to use, either 1.0 or 1.1. So if you have old applications that rely on 1.0, you can still connect to that URL. However, it's important to remember if you want to use the new 1.1 features, make sure you set your versions to 1.1, which is the bottom link provided here. In addition to updates to the URL for AtomPub binding, there's a whole new binding provided with CMIS 1.1. This is the browser binding. It's designed to be simple to use with HTML and JavaScript. The URL looks very similar to the AtomPub binding, but notice that at the end it ends in browser instead of Atom. Responses are JSON instead of XML, and you can use get and post commands. I've provided an example GET request here to show how easy it is to return the children of a folder. Here I have a root folder, and underneath it, my folder. After authenticating, I can just send this GET request to root my folder and then CMIS selector children, and I'll get back a JSON response with the properties of the children of this folder. I provided the portion of the JSON response here as an example. In addition to doing a GET, you can also do a POST. On this slide, I'm providing an example of a POST using Postman in Chrome that will add a PDF file to the content store. And again, I'm adding it to my folder underneath root. Now I already have an authorization, so I'm just going to do a form post here. It's a multi-part form, and I provided a content, which is basically the PDF file itself. And then notice there's a CMIS action. There's a variety of these actions available. We're using create document. And then your keys and values for the metadata are set in two property arrays. Notice property ID 0, CMIS name, is matched with property value 0, the name of the file, which is test.pdf. And then property ID 1 and value 1 are matched up as well. We're setting it to type CMIS document, which maps to basically CM content. On the next slide, I show you the document as it's created in Alfresco after making this post from Postman in Chrome. Before we move on, I just want to provide the specification for browser binding. It's located at the URL here. It can be pulled down from the Oasis site. This describes the browser binding specifications fully. And one more thing, I just want to provide some example actions that are supported by CMIS action. The spec has the entire list, but you can see there's quite a bit of actions that are available. Now we're going to move on to another feature of CMIS 1.1, and that's better support for aspects. With CMIS 1.0, the Alfresco Open CMIS extension library was often required, especially when working with aspects. The Alfresco folder and Alfresco document classes needed to be utilized when working with aspect data in Alfresco. However, with CMIS 1.1, this is really not required. Aspects are now added via secondary object IDs. This is now supported in the standard. In Java, when working with Alfresco objects, you can get a list of secondary object IDs, and they can be retrieved off of the object. You can add additional aspects as needed. Also, setting data in aspects is more straightforward now. The specification for secondary object IDs is defined here on the OASIS website. In addition to providing the specification, I wanted to provide a brief example of a couple of Java code snippets that provide examples of aspect handling. Here's a quick example of retrieving the secondary object IDs off of a document, and then adding a new aspect. In this case, we're adding the systemporary aspect to this list, and then putting that list onto the object. This is also another example where we set the value for description, which is part of the CMTitled aspect. Basically, we just put the property into a map and then update the properties. You can see I'm able to set CM description directly. The last CMIS 1.1 feature I want to discuss today is appending to a content stream. CMIS 1.1 now allows for appending to a content stream, which is really helpful if you're trying to upload a large file. You can upload large files in chunks instead of a single upload. When you're ready to upload the last chunk of a content stream, you set isLastChunk to true, and that signals that the content stream is at an end. The specification for this is provided here in this URL, the Oasis website. The Java Open CMIS library supports append content stream on the document class. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all our videos. Our channel is BluefishTX. For a longer demonstration of programming with CMIS, we also did a presentation at Alfresco Summit 2014. I provided the URL here if you're interested in checking it out. It's about a 50-minute presentation. It covers working both with Java and a little bit of Python as well. Thank you.